East Boo Saga, hip young hooligan sits in a chair and hunts for the world's greatest pirate treasure as the sea water and sharks and skeletons surround him.
Hey yo, it's Dr. Vegapunk here. Wanted to give you a special message. Meta, 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 meta. Meta, 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 meta. Meta, 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 meta. Hello, good to be here again. I'm Boo Lawson. This is East Boo Saga. I have a few thoughts on what the lovely people at Wit Studios have started to put together with our One Piece remake that's coming out. Now, first things first, this is one of those times, traditionally, where a guy like me, jaded as I am, I have to sort of get myself excited about things. Don't get me wrong, everything I've seen so far from the pictures and stuff that I'll put up or I've put up or whatever is there, it's incredible. It's beautiful art. The characters are looking tip top, fine and dandy. I don't think that was ever going to be my issue. I always knew that they were going to pay extreme attention, and put an incredible amount of detail into all of the artwork. I never had a doubt about any of that. There's too many talented mangaka out there, and there's just too many people who love and respect and need One Piece to work for that to have gone wrong. I guess my consideration is one that, how should I put this? I don't think I've got enough detail yet to form any sort of an opinion about what this is going to be. It's like when if anyone has ever paid attention to any sports, occasionally they have managers and they change and the team has to get used to something new, or you don't know what the team's going to look like when they play their first game of the season. You might see pre-trial games and friendlies and things like that, but when they step out onto the field, that's when you know. That's when you know, is this actually going to work? It's kind of how I feel with the remake, with the Wit Studios. I mean, again, the art is incredible. The light and the detail, I guess what I would describe as like slice of life energy. It's got vibes. It's rooted in place. You can tell the backgrounds, the scenery, it matters to them. Sort of trying to really get vibes, the sort of experience of being in those places seems to have been handled really well. I think what it is that I want to know, and I will continue to want to know until it's put in front of me and I can fucking see and test the product for myself, is like, I want to know how the story will be changed. I want to know from a narrative perspective and from sort of the experience of how that narrative is felt, how that's going to change. I've had One Piece in my life now for well over a decade, and I know that I can't expect to be affected by these things as if they're happening to me for the first time. It's sort of like how, while I'm always excited to see what the anime produces now, I already know what's going to come because of the manga. I already know a great deal of what is to come. It's interesting how they flesh these things out, whether or not you want to consider it filler or not. Anyway, here's my 2 cents on this. I want to know what they're going to trim. I want to know what they're going to feel like extending. I want to know how faithful they're really going to be to the source material, whether that source material is just going to be the manga or whether or not they're actually going to take like some hints, some proper hints, not hints, pay homage to the original anime in some fashion. There will be people out there, like god tier fans of the story, that will be able to point out in these images to me like amazing things that I'm missing just in this concept art. But I don't think they would like to give too much away, and I don't expect that they are going to give too much away. I'm an audio guy. I'm a music guy. I absolutely am impacted on all levels by the sonic, by the soundscapes of everything. For me, One Piece, so much of what makes it work and keeps me excited in the anime, especially, and the movies as well, I guess, is that sound. They give One Piece that flavor. It really does. Like everything from dun 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 dun. I want to know if I'm gonna fall in love with the Wit Studio sounds. I mean, am I gonna fall in love with the voices of the crew? Probably. I don't think they'll screw that up. I don't see how they could screw that up. There's too many people that love this thing too much. I think there'll be some adjustments. I think there'll be some growing pains with things like villains we really like. What if they feel different or they sound different or things change or someone's stronger than they were last time we saw them or does something different which changes the way we talk about things? It's sort of like Batman, right? Batman had original source material, and then it got big enough that different artists came up with different storylines and different versions and different movies and different movie adaptations. Eventually, you had different people's versions of different Batmans, different actors of different we even have different people's Jokers that we associate with. That sort of thing is starting to happen big time in the One Piece world now. We've got live action One Piece. We've got this remake coming out. We're going to have in the community all sorts of debates across the formats about what works and what doesn't work, what is truly authentic to the character or Oda's ideas, and whether or not Oda's ideas at some point are really going to be truly authentically One Piece. Like, this thing might get well and truly out of the bag. Like, I'm getting well ahead of myself here, but I hope you get my idea. But yeah, like, there's iconic stuff seared into my mind through this anime. Laughter, the sounds of so many One Piece characters, iconic laughs, like, yeah, iconic laughs that cannot, like, just be, well, I guess they can be replaced. Well, not replaced, adapted, whatever you want to call it. That sort of thing I need to know before I know if this thing's going to work for me. Or at least if the way that they do change it, if it becomes something that uniquely affects me in a different way that I love altogether. Is this remake going to take inspiration from live action elements? Like, is stuff that happens in the Netflix world going to impact stuff that's happening in the anime? Because Oda often is impacted himself by stuff that's happening in the real world. I don't take issue with that sort of thing. I'm just intensely curious to see what happens. I guess that's the long and short of it. I think the art is fantastic. I think the interviews with the people involved that I've seen, they look like a bunch of incredibly committed people who care a great deal about the whole One Piece world and the whole place for One Piece in the world. I am excited, but again, I have to convince myself to be, because versions of things have sucked before. And everyone might say it's great when it isn't. It's just the nature of these things. I can't wait to see more. Some of this art is just beautiful. But yeah, feel free to drop a like, a comment, and subscribe, because this old YouTube place can be quite lonely sometimes. And thanks. I love One Piece. Or